I guess Logan Paul is looking for the smoke. He's looking for some smoke. He's calling out football players. Big, grown, muscular, athletic, the best athletes in the world. He's calling out. He decides to call out football players. He says he will beat up any football player, that's in the NFL to be exact, and put $1 million on it. Man.
Dude, Tom Brady does not want to throw hands. There's a clip of him out there, of him calling me a bitch.
Have the skills he's a football?
To Gronk of all people, who I beat up all of his brothers back to back. The Gronks lined up, and I beat them up back to back to back. And guess who didn't step in there? Mr. Gronk himself. And yeah, they're calling me a bitch.
Don't do this.
I do think it's cute. If any of the football players want to fight, we can see what happens.
What football players would straight up beat his ass?
Not a single one.
Name one.
Not a single one.
Don't do all that, bro.
I would put any amount of money that you could put. DK.
Metcalf?
There you go.
Not a single football player could beat me in a boxing match.
Myles Garrett.
That is on God.
Myles Garrett? Garrett?
I would throttle Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett. I will bet you why did we choose him? It could be any name, but any football player. Myles Garrett.
Is he getting beside himself, y'all? Let me know in the chat. Is he getting beside himself?
Puka Nacua, Tom Brady, Gronk. I don't even know.
Don't even try calling out Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
No, don't do it, bro.
Doesn't matter. $1 million.
I mean, he sleep on Puka Nacua, man. Puka Nacua, you see, he's hard to bring down. He's a very tough guy. But we'll get into it. Let's get back in.
$1 million. You come to the gym, we put on boxing gloves, we see how it goes. Not a single one. Like, it's this. There's levels to the shit.
Chado Chocinco?
Bro, stop. I will throw hands with any of you motherfuckers, bro.
What about Antonio Brown?
Stop. What happens when you take a football player and you wrestle them and then you ground and pound them? They're not going to know what to do.
At the end of that, I think he's trying to bring a little wrestling into it, or maybe talking about UFC fighting in the cage or something like that. But strictly boxing, that's what I want to talk about, because that's pretty much what he was alluding to at first. And he's talking about boxing, right? But at the end of the day, right, Logan Paul, man, he's around 6'2", probably over 200 pounds. Looks like has pretty good size, you know what I mean? So he has the size to fight big dudes, right? You can gain as much weight you want in boxing, and you can lose what you know how much you need to lose if you need to make a certain weight. You know what I mean? But he has the advantage. He has the advantage because he's been training for fighting for a while now, you know, and being a professional or an amateur professional boxer, you know what I mean? So he has the advantage over football players to be able to call them out, because football players, they have been training for football. Mm-hmm. But when he's calling out players like Myles Garrett, that's when it gets a little dangerous. When you calling out players like Myles Garrett and you give Myles Garrett a little bit of training, oh man, that is scary.
It's all because of Tom Brady hurt his heart. Like during Super Bowl week, Tom Brady was on a podcast with him, and he was saying like football players like the most athletic people in the world. He was saying like because you know Logan Paul, he do wrestling now for WWE. He's like, no, not as athletic as NFL players, and they was going back and forth about like who's more athletic and stuff like that. So then Tom Brady call him a big and all that stuff. It's like took me back to that conversation because they are arguing about the best athletes in the world. So it's like, man, I'll beat them all up basically. So he upset because Tom Brady was siding with NFL players saying, we're the best athletes in the world. You can't do it.
Logan Paul, you better take that out on Tom Brady. You messing with some dogs, man. You messing with some dogs. And a lot of us have more of a boxing background than you realize, brother. So we seen your fight with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd, you didn't look too hot. You look like you ready to brawl and all those type of things. That's not what boxing is about. And Myles Garrett is 6'4", 270 pounds of straight power, and he's a very athletic dude. Logan Paul isn't a good fighter. I mean, maybe he's a good fighter, but he's in a good boxer. Maybe he can fight like no rules and things like that. But when you talk about getting in the ring, the art of boxing, Logan Paul is not good at that. But one thing I will say about Logan Paul is him and his brother, they do have a lot of heart. And they aren't scared, man. They aren't scared of pretty much anything. They ain't scared to do anything, really. They some wild boys, so they do have a lot of heart.
Bernard Jacobs, he said, "Call me out." Like, I don't know if you saw that video.
Yeah, and that's another one. That's
Jacobs,
another player.
He's like 6'5".
Yeah, that's another place. About 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds plus. But he has a boxing background, and Logan Paul might not realize that and understand that he has a boxing background. Like myself, I was thrown in the boxing ring way back when I was 8 years old, so I have a boxing background, and we've been boxing for a while. So I mean, but Logan Paul, man, he doesn't have boxing skills like that. At the end of the day. Now, his brother Jake Paul, he's more of a polished boxer than Logan Paul is, but
they need to box each other. They need to just box each other.
I mean, I think that would be an interesting fight, if they came out there and was serious against each other. But remember that fight that Logan had against Floyd Mayweather, man? If y'all remember that fight, Logan is a much bigger fighter than Floyd Mayweather is. And he still couldn't do any damage to a smaller Floyd Mayweather. So that right there alone.
Like 50 pounds bigger. 50 pounds
bigger and probably 4 or 5 inches taller. So that right there let me know that he doesn't understand the art of boxing. He doesn't understand how to box properly and take someone out, basically. And it's an art to it. And he was just in the ring, just swinging, running up on Mayweather, no distance, like, just smothering his punches, and it didn't look good at all. And you get in there with a real boxer that's athletic, that's his size, I mean, it's going to be a different story.
Would you take that challenge, that $1 million challenge, and step in the ring with him?
Yeah, I think I have to take that challenge, man. I have to put these paws on him, man. I think I have to take. But the only issue would be my endurance. I have to hurry up and hit some miles, get on the trail, jog me a few miles and things like that, man. But yeah,
people don't understand how hard it is to go 3 minutes in a round. That's three minutes seems short to you, but you're in there boxing, it feels like a lifetime.
You do not play boxing, man. You do not play boxing, But yeah, I think once you in the ring with a much smaller opponent, then you can't take them out, hurt them, make them quit, TKO, anything. I think that looks bad on a guy like Logan Paul, even though it's Floyd Mayweather. I mean, you have to understand boxing. Floyd was just covering up. He couldn't really fight back because the guy was a lot bigger and things. So, I didn't look at that fight as impressive at all from Logan Paul. But he's specifically targeting current football players for a reason, because he understands some of us retired players are training and ready. I mean, he'll F around and find out. But it was a clip, man. It was a clip floating around a while back. I remember a while back, and it was a clip of Shaq and Oscar De La Hoya. They was in the ring moving around, boxing and things like that. And if you can see the massive size difference that Shaq had over Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, I understand that Oscar De La Hoya is the professional boxer, has all the skills, the wisdom, the experience, so on, etc. But physically, there's just nothing you can do against a guy like Shaq. And that is what I see happening when he enters the ring with a guy like Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett putting them paws on Logan Paul, man, and he be thinking twice about boxing. But then again, it's his brother Jake Paul got in there with Anthony Joshua and suffered a broken jaw, and he's ready to. I'm sure he's gonna fight again. For sure, he's gonna fight again. But if y'all don't understand boxing, man, boxing is about endurance. Got to have that experience, and you have to be in the gym. That you got to get repetition. Got to have that repetition over and over. You got to just box and fight, do drills. That's what it's about. If you don't have it, all of those three things, you mess around and get hurt in that ring. Definitely can get hurt.
And a lot of times where you see like these fighters have layoffs, you could do all the sparring in the world. The sparring kind of don't like match up to actually being a real fight. So you see those like fighters be having like a 2-year layoff and they come out and looking all rusty because it's like football, man. It's like game time play and like practice. Practice can't really live up to the speed of the real game. Like you really got to get in game shape. And a lot of people don't understand the difference between like game shape, boxing shape. It's a really big difference. You could run all the miles you could, but when you want you in there, you got to actually be in there, like you said, that repetition.
And then it's mentally. You got to get through it mentally. You got to understand that. You got to understand how to fight in the ring when you're stupid tired, you're dead tired, you're thirsty. One thing you don't do in boxing is you don't get to drink a lot of water because you got to get back in the ring. And in training, you only have 30 seconds rest. Right back to it. And it looks easy, but man, it is one of the most challenging sports you can ever try, boxing. Woo! Man, I remember my first days getting into the boxing ring, man. I had to jump out the ring because my coach, he was just putting his hands up, put that pressure on me going forward, and I was tagging him. I made him leak, I made him bleed and everything, but he said he was coming forward. I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the repetition, all those things that I talked about. So I didn't know what else to do. And I'm like, I'm not finna let him knock me out. So I just jumped out the ring. That's what I learned, man. That's what I learned, man. Hey, boxing is different, man. But hey, you keep boxing and I learned, man. And I'm a better boxer, baby. I'm a better boxer.